Exploding cars, post-punk opera and monolithic sculptures. That's just some of what we can expect at the 17th Biennale of Sydney. And curator David Elliott promises it'll challenge the way we think and feel about ourselves. This year's Biennale is themed The Beauty of Distance, Songs of Survival in a Precarious Age.
Wherever you are, you're going to be a long way away from something. And that's what it's about. And it's actually how distance can be a very good, a very necessary thing. Distance gives us freedom. Of course, there's geographical distance, there's psychological distance, but there's other very important kinds of distance, critical distance. And that is having a distance from yourself, of being able to criticize yourself first, before you look at the world, before you look at other people, and start to criticize them. If you can't start with yourself, you should shut up.
After the success of Cockatoo Island at the previous Biennale, the former prison will become the centrepiece for this year's event. And curator David Elliott is promising to deliver a cutting-edge visual feast.
Well, it's a show, like any show I've done, which will stand up anywhere. I'm not going to make a special little show for Sydney or for Tokyo or for Stockholm. That would be completely patronizing. So it has to be good.
More than 100 artists from Australia and overseas will feature at what is now the world's third longest-running Biennale. There's the massive installation of 9 rotating, exploding cars.
It's about terrorism. It's about the beauty of horror and the horror of beauty. But it's also about the fact that there is no effect without cause. No cause without effect. And that if we want to think about terror, it's no good just being frightened of it, but actually, in a sense, we have to realize that it's something within ourselves, and partly caused by ourselves.
And there'll be a shouting men's choir performing on the steps of the Opera House.
Now, they shout songs from the Finnish folk heritage. They also do other famous things like the Star-Spangled Banner. And I hope very much they'll be working on something special for Australia. They've told me they will be. They might do the customs authority regulations or something like that. It should be a very catchy little melody, I'm sure.
Finnish artist Ola Kolomainen uses architecture as his raw material and inspiration for his photographic work.
And I've been developing a new approach, so I can approach different buildings in a different way, and this is the first time I'm showing it. Which means that while I'm exposing the picture, I move the camera. So that makes the object, the building, becomes blurred, move horizontally or vertically, and then dematerialize it, and it becomes more light and matter. And some of the things you can see it, recognize it, but nothing is exact.
And you had some pretty amazing architecture to work with, didn't you?
Yes, and this building, it was the first idea was not to include it at all, because it's such an iconic building, and I think it's the world's most photographed building. So I thought that I will leave it alone. But after being here for the first study trip, I figured, no, I have to include it.
The Sydney Biennale begins on the 12th of May, with all exhibitions free to the public. Adrian Raschella, ABC News.